Maybe in the next lifetime, you'll be born into one of these less developed regions of the world, and then you'll realize how difficult it is to evolve up to spiral. You have to understand that every child starts life from ground zero, basically from beige, and then you have to quickly evolve upwards. Now, society and culture are always evolving and inching their way up the spiral. And we've had several thousands of years of evolution culturally. And this is a really positive thing, because if you were off on your own trying to figure all of this stuff out in the middle of the forest or the desert somewhere, you would be at the very lowest stages, beige and purple. The only reason that you're at orange or green or yellow is precisely because of how much society and your culture has helped you. Society has a pulling up effect, but also a pulling down effect. And this depends on the center of gravity of your society. So for example, let's say we take a person who's at stage red and we throw that person into a stage orange society. What's going to happen is that the gravitational pull of the society is a few stages higher than the individual. So it's going to be very easy for that individual to make progress, rapid progress up the spiral towards orange, because all of the media he's going to be exposed to, all of his friends and all of his coworkers and everything he sees on TV and on the internet and all the books that he reads and all the schools he goes to, all of that will program him with the society's center of gravity, which is, let's say, orange in America. And so that person will quickly and rather effortlessly move up towards orange. Now, of course, it's not guaranteed. You can still stay stuck at red if you really want to. But most people will evolve up. But here's the downside of that, is that once that person gets to orange, now growth and development becomes a lot harder, because to go beyond orange towards green or yellow or beyond, well, now the society is going to have the opposite effect. It's going to pull in the opposite direction, because you're still exposed to all of the cultural programming and all the media and all that from your peers. And that's going to be all highly orange. So to evolve beyond the center of gravity of your society, that's very rare. Probably less than 5 or 10% of the entire population will go much further beyond the center of gravity of their society and their culture. Because that now requires that you don't just sit back and coast your way to success or to development. Now you have to actually do the work independently. Now you have to go out there and find those rare teachers and sources and books, which are like the top cream of the crop of your culture and society, which usually, you don't see advertised on TV or in mainstream media. Your friends aren't going to be supportive of your efforts. Your family is not going to understand what you're doing. And in fact, they're all going to do that sort of crabs in a bucket effect, where they're going to try to pull you down to their level. And they're going to think you're a little bit nuts for trying to go beyond. And that's just how it always was. If you look at human history, that's exactly how it always was. The most advanced human beings have always had to struggle against the commoners and the giant mass of lower consciousness people. And they had to drag and pull society up. And so that's what happens. And that's what we see, all the wars and all the culture wars and all of the intellectual debates that go on. It's all about the few individuals who have seen the peaks of what human development and human society can be, trying to pull the rest of the giant herd up the mountain, so to speak, but the herd doesn't want to go and it tries to pull them back down. And so that requires initiative and leadership on your part if you want to go beyond the center of gravity of your culture, your family, and your society. And that's, of course, where actualize.org comes in. And then, of course, if you want to go way beyond actualize.org, well, good luck with that. You're going to find some other source that's beyond me that will help you to go even further. Because, at a certain point, if you evolve really, really high, you will out-evolve me, and then the actualize.org content, if you keep watching it, it'll actually pull you down. Now, of course, I grow pretty quickly, so I'm not standing still. I'm also growing the entire channel. So then the question is, who's going to be growing faster, me or you? That's up to you. I'll grow faster than most of you, but a few of you will outgrow me. And of course, by no means don't let me limit you. And you will probably reach a point someday, a few of you will, where you outgrow actualize.org. And that's fine. That's exactly how it should be, you know? You don't stay in first grade forever, you outgrow first grade. And you outgrow your first grade teacher and so forth. Now, there's an interesting catch-22 for raising the consciousness of mankind that I've been thinking about lately. I want to share that with you. And that is as follows. Here's the catch-22. We start off as humanity, as a society, at a relatively low level of consciousness. And then we want to develop higher. But we can't, because most of the individuals comprising the society are all at low levels of development and consciousness. So what we need to do to really help to elevate them up to higher levels is we need to evolve our culture and our society. But of course, we can't do that precisely because all of the people who are voting and making the decisions are all low consciousness people. And low consciousness people create a low consciousness society. So we need high consciousness individuals to raise the level of society upwards. We need high consciousness leaders, but it's precisely because the level of our society is low that we don't have a lot of high consciousness leaders. See? And so this keeps us stuck. But also, you might now say, well, Leo, so then is it hopeless? It's not hopeless. It's just that it takes time and we have to inch ourselves up and we have to bootstrap ourselves. And that's what we've been doing for the last several thousand years as a species. And you know what? Actually, we've made a lot of progress. A lot of progress, which you can easily see by comparing an advanced country like America or some Scandinavian, Northern European country with some remote village in Africa. You can see how different the levels of development are there. And that just kind of goes to show you how much growth is possible. And then you can kind of project forward and see how much more growth is possible that you can't even see yet. Societies don't even exist yet at the turquoise and yellow levels and beyond. So that will be very interesting as that develops, right? So yes, it's a struggle. Raising consciousness is a struggle. It's a bootstrapping process. It's a sort of clawing your way up the mountain, up the cliff, inch by inch by inch. It comes hard. It comes hard, especially when you're trying to go beyond the center of gravity of your culture. But it's precisely those people who are bold enough and are willing to do the work of climbing up that sheer cliff. They're the ones who end up pulling the rest of society upwards. And then your children and your grandchildren and your great-great-grandchildren, they will be able to take all of that for granted because it'll come to them easily, because now they'll have books and they'll have internet videos and they'll have virtual reality and they'll have all this technology and all this stuff that we've built up, which is going to help propel them very quickly from birth to stage yellow and turquoise and beyond. It's just that most of us take this for granted. Most people who are born in a first world country, they are already in an orange or in a green society, and they just take it for granted. And then what they like to do is they like to demonize and criticize the third world countries, the blue and the reds and the purples, for not being advanced enough, for being too religious and too fundamentalist and all this. Well, look, you were just lucky. You were just lucky to be born where you were born and to go to the schools that you went to and to have all these advantages because you're standing on the shoulders of giants.